Hey guys, Happy New Year. I realize it's getting on later now in January. We're properly in mid-January, but I am back on YouTube and my blog, and I thought I would kick off the new year on this channel as I do every year, at least in recent years, or all of them, probably all of them, with my New Year's resolutions, because I do make them. I know some people are for resolutions, some people aren't. I like them. I don't take them like incredibly like to the letter seriously. They're more just, I think of them as guidelines to kind of help me navigate with the beginning of the year. I'm sure this is a similar experience for many people, but the beginning of the year to me it feels very exciting, but it also can feel a little bit overwhelming because it's almost like you get to start again. And I know that not technically, I mean, life just keeps going no matter what the date is, but, are you licking my hand? Wait, I have to show you Winnie before I get any further. Say hi! Okay, now we've gotten that out of the way. You can sit back down, I'm sorry. It just, to me at least symbolically, it kind of feels that way. So that can be a little overwhelming, especially if you're not exactly sure what direction you want to go in, or you have a lot of ideas, and sitting down and spending some time dedicated to thinking about where I'd like to go and what direction I'd like to take just helps me start the new year on with like firm footing. It just feels a bit more grounded in a time that can feel a little bit like up in the air, at least for me personally. So as usual, I'm going to share my resolutions, and I don't actually call them resolutions because, like I said, I'm not resolved that I have to absolutely follow them or it's a terrible year. They're more of personal goals, and that's what I call them. And I actually have this little clear laminated, I don't know, I think we call this a plastic vinyl pouch from Filofax that I keep in my planner, which is right here, usually in the front, and I just updated it for 2014. I had my 2013 personal and work goals in it previously for the past year, and I just swapped them out, and I thought I would share them with you. And I do categorize them. I split them up into two, between work and personal, because for me that just works better. I mean, you gotta figure out what works for you in terms of you know, New Year's resolutions, goal planning, goal setting, what have you. But I'm gonna share my work ones first, and I'm just gonna go through the list and actually share with you everything I have written down. And I have them sort of in outline style. And like I said, these are more just general guidelines, things that I am hoping to work on or continue working on or make progress in this year. When I say work, I mean all of the things that I create, that I put online for you guys, whether it's YouTube videos or blog posts or what have you. All of that sort of is entailed in my work. So first of all, I have time management as a big category, and under that I have new work schedule. And this year I am doing it. I'm finally implementing an actual schedule because I just think it's really important, especially when you work at home and from home and for yourself on top of that, to set boundaries around your work, because otherwise it will seep in and take over your entire life, every day, all hours of the night. I just wanted there to be more of like a traditional schedule set to my work. So I set a schedule where I'm aiming for weekdays only. We'll see. In the beginning, maybe not so much, but that's what I'm aiming for, with a 6 p.m. clock out time every day. So after 6, I do not want to be doing any more work. There might be the occasional, you know, posting something or uploading something, but I don't want to be working on editing or writing or any of that jazz after 6 o'clock. Follow new schedule to leave time for personal pursuits. One of the reasons I've decided to implement this schedule is because, like I said, you know, work has a tendency, at least in my experience in the past year, to take over my entire life, and it's just left very little time for me to do any of the other things I enjoyed doing. Now, because my work started out as a hobby and it is something I enjoy like a hobby, it can be hard, I think, to justify making that time, but it is, I think, very important to carve out personal time, even if your work is a real source of pleasure for you. And then also use planners to help with maintaining the schedule. So I have my Filofax, which I held up before, and this is what I keep my daily to-do list in, and my general schedule calendar all of that jazz is in there. And then this year I have a new additional planner, and this is just for work. It's my work planner. So this is basically my video and blog post planner. And this is an Erin Condren life planner. And this is a Filofax. So I'm actually going to be posting an updated look at both of those things next week on Organize Like Jen. So next Friday there will be a blog post and a video sharing my new system for this year. I haven't tweaked much in my Filofax because I found a system that really works for me, but with the addition of the Erin Condren Life Planner, I thought I'd do an update, so that will be up next week. But having both of those just helps me maintain the schedule, especially when I stick to my to-do list and not over-schedule myself. And I didn't write this on here. I kind of meant to. I'm probably going to put it at the bottom though, so we'll get there in a minute. Okay, next category is organized finances, something that as a personal business owner, you just have to keep track of receipts and expense reports, and I want to just make that, streamline that even more for easy tax filing purposes. Keep learning. This past year, I dedicated a lot of time to taking online classes and furthering my knowledge in programs. I am an Adobe Creative Cloud member now, which means I have access to all the Adobe programs. I use Photoshop quite a bit. I want to use Illustrator more. I took one class in it. I need to take another class. I feel like I just need a lot more time with that. Illustrator is a graphic design program. I use Photoshop for some very basic graphic design things right now, but I'd like to be able to do more intricate work, so that's why I want to learn more about Illustrator. And I also picked up Final Cut Pro this past year, which I've been meaning to do. I moved on from iMovie, and I just keep learning things about that program, so I just want to continue my knowledge. And something I'm kind of wanting to learn this year is how to create my own website. So coding, I'm not sure exactly, but working with WordPress, Genesis themes, or working with WordPress, Genesis, and like the child themes and stuff, I want to learn how to put up my own website using those tools. So that's something I'm hoping to learn this year. Organized computer files. This is its own category every year because it is a massive undertaking, especially when I'm the kind of person who likes to hold on to all of my raw footage and all of my completed video projects. And trust me, I have a lot of those. I have a Drobo right now that's, I think it's like a 14 terabyte capacity. Is that right? It's a redundant drive. So I think maybe it's only like 7 in actuality. It's full. I need a new one. So I need to work on doing that, get that implemented, figure that whole system out. And I'd also like to implement a home computer network because I do balance between two computers. I have my iMac, which is a desktop, and my MacBook Pro, and I really need some sort of in-home network where I can access both computers easily and the files on each one. So that's something I'm hoping to really get done very soon this year. Alright, now more specifically, for YouTube, I have a new posting schedule I'm super excited about. I can't promise it will be this way forever, but for right now, it's what I'm sticking to. Organize Like Jen videos and coordinating blog posts will be up on Fridays. My Housewife Life, weekly Wednesdays, there will be the weekly vlog. I've moved to weekly vlog style instead of daily vlog, where it's sort of a weekly recap. And it'll also be when I post my week in review posts on organizedjen.com. And then I'm hoping to post on the Busy Bee Buzz on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So there'll be videos up for me Tuesday through Friday every week. And then I am hoping to return to Winnie the Zoo too, but I'm only thinking maybe very occasionally. But I do have a couple of videos I'm thinking of for the next couple of months, so hopefully there'll be an update on there soon because you guys have been asking and I do hear you. For my blogs, something I really want to do this year is integrate all of my content onto organizedjen.com. So organizedjen.com is less of a blog and more of just like my main website. So all of my Tumblrs like winningthezoo.com and Positively Polished, all of that, as well as my regular organizedjen.com content, which features posts that categorize under my Housewife Life, the Busy Bee Buzz, Organized with Jen, all of that, all would be coming into organizedjen.com. So if you want to find me in one place, that would be the place to go. So I'm looking to do that this year. Also with organizedjen.com, I am planning on updating with every video. That's something I've been wanting to do, is just have coordinating blog posts for every video. That way, if you're only looking at organizedgen.com, you can always find my videos there. And then queue up my tumblers on Friday. So my tumblers, like I said, are Winnie the Zoo and Positively Polished. So that they're posting regularly during the week, but dedicate Fridays to editing photos and putting up those blog posts, and with Tumblr I can queue things up, which is nice. Then there's the social media platforms and correspondence category. This is kind of the same as last year. Twitter and Instagram, post every day, kind of keep a conversation going with you guys. I need to be better about replying on Twitter. I know the last couple of months I've been a little negligent, and I want to get back onto that. Facebook, posting video and blog links, the same old jazz, replying to you guys. And then email, I really just constantly need to keep up on that. It gets buried so fast, so I need to really make a point of spending a good 10 to 15 minutes per day minimum on email. And then lastly, this is the category I mentioned in the beginning that I wanted to add something to. Be flexible and take breaks. I think this is extremely important work goal. I have first written implement seasonal work breaks, 1 to 2 week breaks 4 times a year. So I'm thinking 4 times a year, so summer break, winter break, summer, fall, winter, spring, that I will give myself a good week off, like minimum, 4 times a year. No anything, because I just think it's important to have some distance and just to have that time to recharge and come back fresh. And then don't hesitate to change things up if it no longer works for me, which is something that I don't usually have a problem with, but the last 6 or 7 or 8 months is just with the vlogging and everything. I really did want to change it up, but I felt hesitant because everybody seemed so enamored with the daily vlogs. They really weren't suiting me, and I changed it up this year, and I'm already feeling a million times better, and you guys seem to be enjoying it anyway. So I just can't be afraid to change things up, because if it works for me, it's going to work better all around. And then the thing I wanted to add to this was to not overschedule myself, which I have a tendency to do. I am definitely a type A sort of person where I think I can do way more than I can in one day, and I do a lot in one day, but I think I can do about at least twice as much as I can physically do in a certain amount of time. So it's just realizing that, and I just have to keep constantly reminding myself to schedule half of what I think I should every day, and that is a much more reasonable approach. Now that doesn't work for everybody. Some people need help getting more things done. Some people need more motivation. I have too much motivation. I need to cut myself a little slack. Because at the end of the day, if you've only crossed off half your to-do list, and even doing those things took all day and you were working constantly, you still don't feel good having half your to-do list crossed off. So making more reasonable daily goals, small goals, I think is something I really need to constantly think about and work on, because I do tend to overschedule myself in that way. Alright, and now for my personal goals, and these are things that don't really relate necessarily to work, although I think I mentioned work a few times in there. And again, just like the other one, I have these broken down into categories, sort of in a, what do we call this? Outline form. So first category is social life. Continue progress in social situations. I've mentioned before I suffer from social anxiety. I have made huge progress in that area specifically, especially over the past 2 years. I feel like I'm just very proud of my progress and how far I've come. That being said, I think it's important to know where your limits are. This year, actually at the end of this month, I was planning on going to this big conference in Salt Lake City called Alt Summit, and I was all set to go, and I decided to back out kind of at the last minute. Well, literally at the last minute, the last day you could possibly cancel, because it was giving me heart palpitations and I was just panicking over it, and it just didn't feel right. It wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right situation. It is something I'd like to do, is to go to one of these blogger conferences one day. Just think it'd be a really great learning opportunity, but it just wasn't the right time for me right now. So I think knowing yourself and knowing your limits, there's a difference between pushing yourself so you can grow and pushing yourself to a point where it's harmful. And it's a delicate balance, but I think I made the right decision. And I am proud of the steps that I have made so far. So I want to continue progress in that way. spend quality time with loved ones. This includes my family and my friends, my puppy, people that I love and I want to be around, just making sure that I'm carving out time for the people that I cherish in my life. And 3, work on communication with self and others. I put this in social life, even though I said communication with self, because I really honestly believe that you cannot communicate honestly with anybody else until you communicate honestly with yourself. And it's something that I have to constantly work on. It's something that I'm working on in therapy, that I go to a psychologist, yes, once a week, and she helps me with this. And it is in working on my communication with myself that I am making progress in communicating with others, which is in turn helping me in social situations and with my social anxiety in general. So it's kind of like a big happy circle of love. Okay, and then the second category is home life. And I have 4 subcategories in this. So for home life, I have donate lots and buy less. I have been going through my house over the past year like a fiend, just paring down. And I made a big effort last year to purchase less unnecessary things, and I really did make a difference. I can tell because I'm in charge of our finances. I'm in charge of our credit card bills and our bank accounts and balancing all of that stuff, and I know there's been a big difference, and I'm very, very pleased with my efforts in that way. And I have been donating like crazy, so I want to keep that up. There's a few more kind of high density spots in our house that I want to go through, but I'm very pleased with my progress so far. Pick up around the house every day. I do this every day anyway, but it's something I think bears repeating. It's important to me to keep a tidy home, because a tidy home just makes me feel like physically and emotionally and psychologically better. And so just keeping things tidied up every day, I probably spend anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes every day just picking up in the main kind of traffic areas like the mudroom and the kitchen and our bedroom and my office. So just keep prioritizing that. And speaking of priorities, prioritize the pack. Home life to me means my family unit, and my family unit is Donna and Winnie as of right now. And just prioritizing them and my time with them and making sure that their needs are met in the ways that I can meet them. That is a huge, huge priority to me. And just, just prioritizing my pack of 3. All right, the next category is health and nutrition. I have written down eat clean 80% of the time and don't worry about the other 20%. I've been reading this everywhere over the past couple of years, and I just think that's a really nice motto to live by, and I think I'm pretty close to it. I think in reality I probably eat clean about 70% of the time. I'd like to bump that up to be about 80%, and then just have fun and don't stress over the other 20%. Have a piece of chocolate, have that biscuit, just don't eat like the whole box in one sitting, and making sure I'm eating pretty clean and green rest of the time. I think it's a pretty healthy attitude towards nutrition. The next one's a biggie for me, which I fail on constantly, but drink a minimum of 60 ounces of water per day, which I do not fail on. That is usually the absolute minimum I drink. I aim for about 100 ounces. That's for me, seems about right. But the biggie in this one is to drink half of that amount by lunch. And I just don't know what it is, but I don't remember to drink water until I am parched at the end of the day. I'm just, being my little busy bee self, flitting around, totally forgetting to drink water. And then it's 5 o'clock and I'm downing 60 to 100 ounces of water. And you can only assume that that's just not the healthiest way to drink water. I feel like it should be more evenly spaced out. So one of my big goals for this year is to drink half of my water intake, at least 30 ounces by lunchtime. And I think that will just help me feel better in general too. The next couple of things are more about exercise, and one of my goals this year is for regular exercise as usual, but more moderate exercise, kind of toning it down a little bit, because I can get rather intense with exercise, and I have in the past. So over the past couple of months, I've really kind of found a nice balance that works for me, and that is running and cross-training about 4 to 5 times a week. I run usually about every other day. actually every other day at the minimum, and I also cross train, and I'm only running anywhere from 2.5 to 3 miles, and so that takes anywhere up to a half an hour, and then I'm doing anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes of cross training after. So only an hour a day and mostly every other day with yoga in between. And the yoga in between is the one thing that I haven't been keeping up on. It's something I want to re-implement in my life, is getting back on a regular yoga schedule. So if I can do yoga 2 to 3 times a week in between my cardio and strength training days, that would be amazing. But it's something I really would like to do. And then lastly, on the health and nutrition category, is listen to and respect my body. And I've really made lots of progress on this over the past few years, especially between injuries with my half marathon training and all that. Just knowing when enough is enough or when it is time to push. And I think I am learning how to do that very well. I've become very attuned to my body, and you know, not treating it with the respect it deserves, I think is something everybody can benefit from. Time management, next category, always a biggie. Keep up with my planners and to-do lists to reduce anxiety. It is true, having these sorts of tools for me helps keep a cap on my anxiety. It really does. I've always said that exercise is my drug of choice with anti-anxiety, and it is. I don't take any anti-anxiety medication or anything like that. I think regular and moderate exercise is the best. But for me, in addition to that, having to-do lists and calendars and planners like this just really helps me not kind of obsess over things and worry too much about things to do and stuff like that, because I feel like I can write it down and let it go, and then it's okay. So keeping up with those things are important to me. And this is, like I said, from the work side, reduce work schedule to weekdays only, 6 p.m. clock out. I think that will just really help me feel a bit more balanced, because I've been feeling very unbalanced in the work-personal life ratio over the past year. Next category is personal development. And these are sort of my 4 biggies, I guess, of the whole personal and work goal list. Like, these are the 4 big ones. 1, let go of negativity. And I've really, again, made a lot of progress with this. It's hard when negativity comes your way to learn how to navigate through it, around it, whatever works for you. You have to find your own way. And I've surprised myself by my strength and my ability to deal with negativity. Doesn't mean that I can just let everything roll off me. I am only human as it is. But I just want to continue reminding myself to just let go when I feel like, when I can feel it kind of crawling up my neck as negativity, you know, will kind of just come get you and strangle you, to just breathe and let it go and let it recede and just let it roll off you. There's a difference between ignoring things that bother you and accepting them and moving through and around or whatever them, under, over, whatever way you have to. So I think that's just a good thing to always keep on my list. 2, be more present in the moment. Always on my list every year. As an official worrywart, I tend to get I have a tendency to worry a bit too much about the future and to linger on the past a little bit more than is really necessary. Staying in the moment, like appreciating what is right now and just really experiencing what is right now, is something I have to constantly work on and work for. And I have been doing it, and I do see change there, and I just want to keep up that good work. Number 3, patience is a virtue. When I say patience, I'm thinking mostly with myself, because I have pretty good patience skills when it comes to other people. It's really with myself that I can get very impatient, and just trying to learn how to be more patient in general, I think, is something everyone can benefit from again. And number 4, lastly, be kind to myself. I am my biggest critic. I am definitely my biggest critic, and I have just, I just constantly have to remind myself to be nicer to myself, and I actually have seen a lot of change there in the past couple of years as well. So just things to, those are my 4 biggies and things to just kind of keep on the back burners at all time. And the last category is make me time a priority. And I've talked about me time before, personal time, personal day, whatever you want to call it. I think it's important as humans to have some time where you do the things that you gotta do in your own way to feel peace. And I think it's so interesting how people can be condemned as selfish or, you know, self-serving or whatever, when there's a difference between being selfish and just doing what you gotta do to be happy in this life. Because in truth, you live your life. You don't live everybody else's life, and trying to cater to everybody else's needs all the time, leaving no room for yourself. At the end of your life, you're going to look back and maybe wish you had made some more time for your own personal pursuits and things of that nature. So I don't know. It's hard to talk about the selfish stigma because I don't know exactly how to phrase it just yet, but it's definitely something in our culture that is so frowned upon, but at the same time, it's part of being happy is finding what makes you happy. And you are the only person who can make you happy. Nobody else can make you happy, and you really can't make other people happy. You can contribute to their feelings of well-being and general, you know, good times, but you cannot make somebody else happy. Happiness is a state that comes from inside you only. So there's my little piece about that. I'm gonna move on, but here's what's under my category for make me time a priority. Bath time and reading. This was on my list last year. I try to take a bath like 4 to 5 times a week, and that's when I read, and I usually spend about 45 minutes in the bath, and it's just a time for me to decompress, total solitary time, and to escape into my reading. It's just a nice me time. Knitting and crafting. I've gotten real back into knitting. I've always loved crafting. It's not something I've made a lot of time for in the past 4 years or so, but it's something I'm hoping to incorporate more into a daily experience this year. So I'm setting aside 15 minutes a day to knit something or make something, whatever. Music, again, totally failed on the music front last year. This is always on my goal list, and it's just something I always push aside, and I just really this year really want to make it a priority. So I'm aiming for 15 minutes of practice. Oh, Winnie's streaming. 3 to 5 times per week if possible. And I play the piano, and I probably do not remember all how to play the guitar, but maybe even taking guitar lessons this year. And then lastly, journal daily. I keep a gratitude journal. It's something I write in every evening. Just all the things I'm grateful for from that day. Kind of helps end my day on a positive note. And also my personal diary. I probably write in every couple of weeks or so. I'd like to write in it more often, but you know, I'm pretty happy. I made it more of a consistent practice over the last year, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I just like to keep that up. And that, my friends, is everything. This was a long video. I knew this would be, though. I would love to hear some of your personal or work or whatever goals, school goals for the next year. If you guys care to share, leave me a comment below. I will have copies of my personal goals on my blog, so there'll be a coordinating blog post if you'd like to see them written out. I don't know, I feel like looking at somebody else's goals can sometimes help inspire me for things that I want to think about for myself. So if that is something interesting for you, go check it out. And like I said, next week I will be back to share an updated look at my planners for 2014, including my File of Facts and my Erin Condren Life Planner, and how they are working out for me so far this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for an awesome 2013. I'm so excited to see what 2014 brings. I am already feeling so optimistic and positive and just really good about it. I've been making some changes that are suiting me, and I just think that it's gonna be fun for everyone. I just think so. So I will see you guys next Friday here. You can always catch me on my other channels, Tuesday through Thursday. with my new work schedule, my posting schedule. And until then, so long, take care. Bye guys, thanks for watching.